My parents were
My grandpa was a racist, and when I was 17 years old, my mom told him that he better get over it because his granddaughter was likely going to marry a black person. My grandfather disowned me. He did not speak to me again until the day that he died, when he fell asleep in his pool chair, dropped a cigarette onto the chair, and he burned alive at 92 years old. But he forgot to write me out of the will, and I got $5,000. Here is to breaking generational curses and fuck racism.
As grannies, as old women, they choose the good path as well. So it simply means that if anybody does not want to choose the good path, you are the problem. A lot of grannies came up here to expose a lot of things that have literally gone wrong and literally gone sour. And I want you guys to carefully watch because I'll be back with commentaries. Please make sure you tell me your honest opinion in the comment section, and credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. Guys, with that being said, let's roll out the clips. I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go watch, guys.
I just wanted to ask you about how you guys were able to raise us, and you aren't racist. I mean, that's a big thing right now because, racism is kind of driving our government, our administration, the ICE raids. How did people your age coming from wherever you came from, what were your thoughts when you were raising us that we didn't grow up thinking that we were different or better or anything?
Well, our thoughts were that we had black students in the high school we went to, and some very prominent ones. And it came a little while later, after we graduated from high school, one of the graduates there, a black man, donated, I think, all the money that took to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I couldn't put it out.
But he went to, what was your high school?
East High School, Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
This was probably 15 years after we graduated.
Oh, okay. But you guys went to the same high school, right, Mom?
yeah.
In my case,
Food flying.
in my case, I was on a wrestling team in high school, and one of our wrestlers was Leroy Haynes, I think that was his name, and he and I were always partners in practice, and so we were going to, this was Denver, Colorado, we were going to somewhere in eastern Colorado, to a high school, and we were going to wrestle with another school, and I had, when you go on a trip like that, you have to have lodgings, because you're there several days, so Clifford and I were going to lodge together, he black and I white, and never thought about it until my mother found out, and raised hell at the school, and I can't remember the results. I think we ended up not even going.
Oh my
that
gosh.
much, yeah.
And how did that make you feel?
I accepted it, that's what it was with her, but I hated my mother all the time. It didn't change my hate for her, because she was a mean, evil stepmother.
Yeah, but a lot of even mom had a great mom, but also there was a lot of racism in those days, right, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
I remember you telling me a story about growing up. You mean you grow up and you not racist at all with me, but that's not how Grammy was.
No. I think most of their friends were prejudiced.
Mm-hmm.
I think they all were kind of like that.
I think you're right, very much so. But they're good people, but they're not our kind of people.
Right. Separate but equal.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I ever heard a racial slur was from your mom when I was little. Do you remember
Okay.
that? like sitting around the table, and Mom was like, you were horrified.
Well, that's what she said.
And Mom like brought me aside and she's like, I mean, I never even heard that word used, and my grandma was using it.
Yeah.
Your evil stepmom.
And the word was
N-word.
N-word.
Mm-hmm.
And I had several friends in high school that were pretty cool. And when I went to college, some of them were still with me. And yet, anytime my mother would say, this is my evil stepmother, by the way. Anytime that she would use the N-word, she would always lower her voice.
Because she knew it was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She knew she
And
was
yet,
a bigot.
She grew up at one time, fairly well-off people, had a very large 3-story house in Bonita, Oklahoma. And when I was a young kid and we'd go down there, she had to live in maids.
Mm-hmm.
A maid and a cook. And they were just wonderful people to them, you know, because
they were her
subjects.
Servants. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mom, didn't you want to invite your friend over for a birthday party or something? Isn't that what happened? Then you found out how your mom felt.
Didn't want it to happen. Didn't want it to happen, sorry.
Yeah, so tell that story.
I don't remember that well enough to tell it, but she was, this girl was smart and terrific student, and suddenly I couldn't have her to my party.
How does that make you feel? How did that make you feel?
I was devastated and mad at my mom.
And that kind of devastation is because you have to admit to everybody, but your mom was that way.
Yeah. But when you guys raised us, like, we never talked about it. Like, it was just kind of by osmosis that I didn't even know there was racism in California because I never heard it in the house and you never said anything. I only remember hearing you one time talking to somebody on the phone, and there was a black family that was looking at the house on the street, and you're like, I hope they move in because that'll really piss off so-and-so.
Yeah.
So I was trying to put the pieces together.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Subsequently in college, there were a lot more people in college.
Multicultural people.
Multicultural, yeah. And we'd chat with them, and we would go to the candy store or the bar or stuff like that, and it was no issue.
Mm-hmm.
But again, my evil stepmother, was raised in Oklahoma.
Yeah, she was a Southerner.
And it was just, even when she'd say the N-word, it'd lower her voice. And yet the two that were servants in her home as she grew up were good people.
Right. Yeah.
But they used the word to describe them.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about people your age today that are still, wanting the immigrants gone and still have racist tendencies? And
I don't know how a thinking person could ever believe that, but we know they do.
yeah, they do. There's still this white supremacy ideal in so many people.
And people who, well, like my mother, would not claim at all that she was prejudiced.
I know.
It was just because they're lower class people and they're good.
The one she
Use the
knows.
word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one she knows. Yeah.
So that's a tough one to call. And as I say, in the Navy, there were probably 200 people in the ship, and I imagine there were 24 of those people. And yet,
Black people.
huh?
Black,
Yeah,
white,
people.
Mexican.
Yeah, and yet you're all the same. You're all pulling for the same thing. If something bad happens, you got to turn to it and go to work and see if we can save this ship and stuff like that. And we had a black man on the ship, pretty young, probably 22 years old, and a big guy. And I heard one day somebody was screaming. We were just like somebody was out of their mind, screaming loud. And it turned out that there was a guy going into a small compartment, and this was a white guy. And he went down a small compartment, and then he accidentally dropped a canister of it might have been carbon dioxide, but some gas, and screaming, and nobody would do anything. And this undesirable guy went in, grabbed him, big guy, threw him right up out of the hole, visibly threw the whole guy's body up and saved his life.
Wow.
And we thought that was very cool.
Not undesirable.
I'll say,
Thanks for not raising me with racism, you guys.
you're welcome, sir.
You definitely didn't prepare me for the world, though.
Yeah. The world didn't get prepared for you.
Here is some other crazy shit that my racist dad said when I was growing up. 100%, he told me, I think in high school, if I ever brought a black man home as a potential romantic partner, that he would be disappointed. He didn't say, like, don't do that, but he was like, that would be really disappointing to me. When Obama won the presidency, I remember, I was literally in middle school. I was like 12 or 13. And I used to hate being in the car with my dad because we were trapped, right? Like, we were just trapped and we couldn't get away. And like, he would really utilize his time in the car with us to like lecture and like spew this hate. And I remember he was always so pissed that Barack Obama's middle name is Hussein. And I remember him being like, Ali, his middle name is Hussein. And I was like, okay, like, I don't know what that, like, he was always expecting us to be as, like, outraged as him, but, like, we genuinely, like, didn't understand. I remember one time, my neighbor was a black girl. Her name was Felicia. She was hella sweet. She would come over and be like, hey, can Allie come out to play, da-da-da-da-da. And I remember one time she had a sty in her eye, and, like, my dad saw it and was like, you shouldn't go in her house. Like, she's dirty. Like, do you see that she has that? Like, don't touch any of her stuff, and, like, you shouldn't go in the house. Trigger warning. This is where it gets kind of, like, really bad. Like, really bad. My dad didn't think he was racist, right? Because he had, like, a black friend, and he used to say to me and my brother, there is a difference between black people and hard R. There is a difference between black people and black people. Dress nicely, speak white, basically. Hey, stop. Have good jobs, are educated. Those are black people. I'm fine with black people. These are thugs and ghetto and would rob you and would rape you and that whole like super predator bullshit. Like, these people they're on drugs, they're dirty. Like, that's the difference. We can be friends with black people, but like, basically they're not even people. Like, there was a very clear distinction in his mind, and he wasn't racist because he was friends with black people. He used to ask me from a very young age if I was a Democrat or Republican. The correct answer is Republican. And he would ask me that all the time growing up. Like, when I was like 10, 11, he'd be like, you're a Republican, right, Allie? And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know what that means. Like, but it was this super early indoctrination. And then specifically, I remember, this was when I was in high school, at the Thanksgiving dinner table, he called people in the Middle East sand N-word. And like, I was like, Dad, that is so messed up. Like, what are you saying right now? Like, that, do not say that. Like, what is wrong with you? And he was like, what? They are. And it was just like, it was bad. It was really bad.
5 years ago, I was scrolling on Facebook and I came across a post from a girl that I used to be best friends with when I was in the first grade. And the post said, "What is your earliest childhood memory of experiencing racism?" And she said, when I was in first grade, my best friend came to school one day and told me that she could no longer be my friend because I was black. My heart broke into a million pieces when I read that, and it really, really hurts to know that something so traumatizing and awful that happened to her as a child is attached to me, even though that was not something that I did, something that I wanted. I loved her. She was my very first girl best friend, and that was not a decision that I made. My dad called the school, and it was such a huge ordeal. He tried to get me put in a different classroom away from her, and I can't believe like that something so evil and terrible that happened to her, like her very first time ever realizing that she's going to be treated differently because of the color of her skin, has my name attached to it. The way that my dad even found out about that is my earliest childhood memory. I don't remember anything else before this day. I was sitting at the dinner table with my family, and I would talk about her, but I would never say her name, or I would use a fake name. My mom knew that I was friends with this girl and that she was black, and she would tell me, like, never tell your dad. And we're sitting at the dinner table, and I accidentally slip and say her name, and my dad looked at me, and he was like, "Is she black?" And I said, "Yes," and he slapped me across the face. That was so scary. I was terrified. I grew up in a household where we couldn't watch TV shows that were black. Like, I didn't watch That's So Raven. Like, I wasn't allowed to watch The Proud Family. I loved Little Bill, but I wasn't allowed to watch it. And so it would come on half hour before my dad came home from work. And if he came home even like a little bit earlier, I would have the remote ready in case like he walked through the door, I could change the station. I had to pretend like Jump In wasn't my favorite movie because my dad would have beat my ass. I hid everything from him. He has no idea who I am to this day. Like, I never was ever transparent with my dad about anything. I continued to hide everything from him my entire life, and it's really crazy. I have two parents on this earth that are alive and breathing and don't know me or anything about me.
I am white, and I was born into a white family with a racist white father who hated black people and used the N-word in his everyday vocabulary. My oldest brother, who ended up sexually assaulting me when I was 17 years old, his username on his laptop, or his password to his laptop, used to be DTAF, which was death to all FAGS. Every single person in my family supports Trump actively and loudly. And even after being through all that, I am still smart enough and have my own head on my shoulders and can use my brain and do my own research to determine that all of those things are bad. I was raised to believe they weren't, and as I grew up, I realized that they in fact are. It doesn't matter what your family thinks or believes or who you come from, the world of opportunity at your hands.
Let's talk about an uncomfortable aspect of racism. Some white people who have black children, even if they birthed them, are racist. Yeah, not all of them, but a lot of them are. A lot of them just like to fetishize black people, thinking that, you know, I am just sexually attracted to them, but I don't have to treat them as human. I sat there my whole life watching my own mother do this to my brother. And it's really unfortunate because every single time they had a fight, what word do you think she used? I'll give you a hint. It starts with an N. And she birthed this man. She birthed this man, and she treated him like he was a dog his whole life, and still continues to do so. Why do you think that he moved 2,000 miles away immediately after college and never came back? Because a lot of white people out there just like to have black children just so that they can say they have black children. But But a lot of y'all don't even want to talk about it. And again, it's not every white person, but a lot of you love to do this. For example, one time I was seeing a black guy, my mom caught wind of it, and she goes, oh my God, I want black grandbabies so bad. I was literally just seeing this guy. That was it. And she wanted to use black grandbabies as a trophy, to be like, I have black grandbabies. What are you talking about? These people aren't trophies. You shouldn't treat them like, oh my God, it's so taboo. Look at me. I have black family. It's not like that. They're people. And it's so more prevalent than you think it is.
Racists will make exceptions to their racism. I'm mixed black and white, and I was raised by my white family, and several of my family members are racist. No, not all of my white family members are racist. However, there are a large number of them that are racist. They'll never admit it, but they are, just like most racists. And one of the reasons that they'll use to justify the fact that they're not racist is their love for me and my siblings, or their black friends, or the black people that they choose to date romantically. So I was 5 or 6, and kids, we all used to play with everybody in the neighborhood. So we're outside playing, we're doing our thing in my great-grandparents' yard. I go inside to get me a drink of water, and my pawpaw, that's what I call him, my pawpaw looks at me and he says, get them ninjas, hard ERs, out of my yard. Mind you, I'm a child. That was my first time ever hearing that word. And I was so confused. I said, Papa, what's a hard ER? I remember my mama, his wife, she would say, she was the sweetest lady ever. However, she was complicit in it. She said, don't worry about it. You just go outside and play. Don't worry about that. So I went outside. I went back outside with my friends and I said, y'all, my papa said we got to get out of his yard. So we all went over to the neighbor's house. I did not understand until I was older and started reflecting and looking back just how fucked up that was. And y'all, that's just one story of many. Now that I'm older, I reflect on so much, and I'm sorry. I'm on my healing journey. I'm trying my damnedest. But I know there's a lot of y'all that resonate with this same exact thing. If y'all want to tell y'all stories, I would love to hear them. I would love to talk about it. Some shared experiences. Yo, I'm telling y'all, y'all don't understand just how deep racism cuts. Especially from people who love you and make you exceptions to their hatred. And I'm having the toughest time as an adult navigating that side of my family. I will be discussing this topic a lot more because it is time for me to heal from some shit. And I have stayed quiet on it for so long because I did not want those people who claim to love me unconditionally to feel any type of way. And you know what? It's my fucking truth. It's my truth, my lived experiences. I will speak on it because it's real shit that happens every day.
Anyways, welcome back guys, and thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys literally enjoyed every single clip I was able to roll out for you guys. And honestly, I want to say kudos to these grannies because it is not easy for you to identify the truth and also be able to split it out. So these are grannies coming out that their parents, right, their parents were racist. Like, they were brought up. You can even hear where the girl was even saying, there was a time she was literally hearing from her grandma saying, calling the N-word, calling black people the N-word, and at the end of the day, the mother would just like, and also we tell her, see, upbringing is very important. That is one thing I tell people. Upbringing is 100% very important, because if not for the good upbringing that this woman literally have, and she installed it into her daughter, what do you think the daughter would have turned into the society now? It would have just been a whole lot of worse. That is why if you check where the she was literally saying, even when her own grandmother we open her mouth, say racist thing, her mother will take her in and tell her, do not pay attention to those words, and those things are not making sense. I keep saying it. A lot of issues we have right now in this economy, in this society, is the fact that a lot of people are not ready to correct their kids. A lot of people know that this particular thing is wrong, but they don't care to call it out. They don't care to teach their children. The only thing they just want is, no matter what is actually going to happen, just be you and do not let anybody do this or do that. That is why these people can have that audacity that Miss Rachel is being cancelled because she actually spoke or spilled out a shocking, brutal truth. So, if you are not racist, you should be able to see the truth and call it truth. You should be able to see spell and call it a spell. It's as simple as that. But a lot of them will not agree. And I can tell you for a whole fact, I kid you not, 99% of them that are still racist up to date is as a result of their demonic upbringing. Their upbringing is so corrupt to the point that they literally cannot just do without being a racist. That's truth. The moment you want to talk about it, they tell you argue too much. You don't know what you're saying. Or for them to justify what they are actually saying, they will tell you that black people too can be racist. We've seen black people being racist. And it's even more bad that they've seen it to the point that I see some immigrants also picking up from that leg. And before you know, they will tell you, oh, black Americans are racist. Oh, black Americans are racist. And I keep saying it, you will not know the depth of what you're causing or the harm of what you're causing until that thing actually strip off something from you. A lot of them have been getting fearful even just from these particular acts that they are doing, but still at the end of the day, they don't want to change. Now, a lot of them will now want to change when they have gotten to that point where they have realized that everything that they have literally been getting is fearful. Because of this said thing called racism, a lot of white folks have lost their job. A lot of them has lost their properties. I did a video that was last week where you literally see this man lost everything within a twinkle of an eye. He can't even feed anymore. He came online to cry and he was begging black people for forgiveness because the company where he literally put all his hope on, the company where he was relying on to feed, he never knew that that company will literally see all of the racist slurs that he has been throwing online. And the moment they saw all of those slurs, they said, no, we can't deal with this person. The only thing we're going to be doing is we have to sack him with immediate effect. And he became broke. There is nothing, there is nowhere to run to. Nobody wants to even help him, including his own family members. So these are the depths of some of the things that racism has caused. And that is why whenever I see some people don't even mind, keep doing what they are doing, I just feel pity for such people, because I don't know why I should involve myself in doing what is never profitable. I don't know why I should involve myself in doing what has never added any value into my life. I don't know why I should involve myself in dehumanizing a particular person just because I want to satisfy my cravings. It's quite sad. And that is why whenever I see some of these white folks calling out racism for what it is, I really appreciate that, and I go ahead to roll out those clips. And that was one of the reasons I was able to bring this up here, so that we can also learn from each other. I also wanted to let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you, liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks. Also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. Yes, with that being said, with no further ado, like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye. I'll see you. Mwah.